Hello,
Well, oh, yes. Hello, welcome. I'm Jack, and let's see, you are.
Jill.
Huh,
Yeah, I know. It happens occasionally.
Jack and Jill went up the hill.
Yep, to fetch a pail of water. It's
That used to mix me up.
my name?
Oh, when Jack fell down and broke his crown, I always imagined it was a king's crown and that he lost his power. Then I got older and found out that it was his head.
Right. English sometimes doesn't translate well into English. So
So,
I,
you?
I, you, would you, could we,
Is there a problem?
I just thought,
That's a good start. Every prospective teacher needs to think.
I think
Yes, I heard.
I'd like to start the interview.
Oh, yes. Let me just excuse all the books. The eighth grade is short a teacher until we fill the sixth grade position, so I thought it best that we prescribe a novel to take up their time. Only problem is that there are more girls than boys in the class.
Oh,
Oh,
I think
it's been established.
that it wouldn't matter the gender of the class when choosing a novel.
Hmm. You don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
You also seem to say that a lot. Oh,
oh, I hadn't. Oh,
I'm a 19th century man.
uh,
Always was. Dickens, Twain, Hardy, nothing like crumbling social scenes set in sooty London, muddy Missouri, and surprisingly erotic farmsteads of southern England. That's the stuff. Big novels written for small worlds. I suppose they're all a bit too safe and white in most places, but heck, so are the suburbs. Sadly, here at Our Lady of the Bleeding Heart, Mind, and Spirit, the boys certainly act out like Huckleberry Finn, yet none of them have the faintest idea who he is.
what about the girls?
Well, that's the real problem. I'm sure most of our lassies are ready for a demented stroll through the moors with Emily Bronte, but we'd lose the boys flat out. That rain soaked, heaving breasted Heathcliff just doesn't move the dial for my LCGs.
LCG.
Little Catholic gangsters. It's an inside joke, mainly inside of my head. What I'm saying is that these aren't your classic comic book school kids. There's no all around good guy Archie in this crowd, and certainly no Richie Rich. These are poor kids whose families are only getting poorer. Half of them are on scholarship, and the other half chronically misses their payments. But what I mean to say is, this is a tough crowd, and it takes a tough cookie to keep them in line. So let's see what we have here. Jill Exwell. What kind of name is that? It starts out German and ends British,
I'm Scottish.
as you aptly put it. Oh, graduated University of Vermont. Are you a skier or a pothead?
What? No, I don't ski. And I don't.
Uh, no graduate degree.
I'm working on one at Sussex College.
Say it for me this time, would you?
Oh,
Previous experience? None.
I worked for 6 months as a teacher's assistant.
Collecting assignments while your addled undergrad professor sleeps off a bender does not satisfy my criteria for experience. For example, what would you do when a child ignites their textbook in the middle of class?
Ignites?
Fire! Fire!
I'd put it out.
With what?
The fire extinguisher?
Yes, I suppose. You would leave the blazing desk to the care of the children while you, the assumed adult, run into the hall for the fire extinguisher and then return to douse students with a foaming spray of toxic chemicals. That should temporarily put out the conflagration until the news of the day's in-class bonfire and summary hose down travels back to the many homes which will each burst into their own inferno until the school becomes deluged with an invasion of angry parents lampooning op ed articles in the local paper, grimly serious threats of litigation, and a likely defunding by the archdiocese. Sure, that's a plan.
I'm sorry. This is not going well.
Agreed.
And I think,
Need not remind me.
I believe it's not all my fault. Your style of questioning is I've never.
I imagine that's due to 4 years sequestered in the Green Mountains, either frolicking around in or smoking Mother Nature, or quite likely both. You have no license to question my style of communication. I've been assistant principal here for 17 years and served as second-hand man to 3 mother superiors. And unless I experience a divine metamorphosis and wake up tomorrow morning as a nun, this is as far as my style will take me professionally. So you'll just have to live with it for an increasingly short amount of time. Now, as they say, what else you got?
I graduated summa cum laude in a very competitive class.
Of skiers and potheads.
I was not a skier or a pothead. I tried both in one afternoon and it did not go well.
Finally, honesty.
Honestly, I'd like to talk about the job. The school?
Certainly. The job is to preside over a mob of 12-year-olds as you continually contort your personality from highly tolerant babysitter to sympathetic mother to slightly harsh prison guard. And the school? Well, we are, in my opinion, a protected pasture within this crumbling town, and we few educators tend to flocks of future factory working sheep. Some of them are very nice. Most of them are very bad. Now, what are your thoughts on the human body?
On Okay, I can't.
The 6th grade teacher is responsible for homeroom, mathematics, and health class.
Oh, I mean, uh,
If a student asks a question about, well, I should be tactful here, corporeal arousal or the satisfying of innate urges, or
I get it.
I assure you that queries of this nature are not satisfactorily answered with, oh,
Sir,
please, call me Jack. I'm Jackie to my friends, and dear John to my ex-wife.
Jack, I know that I'm young and I don't yet have a master's, but I'm prepared to competently answer any student questions in an intelligent and instructive manner.
Do you believe in God?
Well, yes,
Is it a he or a she?
I don't know. Although I'd say many believe it's a he.
Well, we go with the traditional bearded figure dressed in robes. Well, now, there's no reason it couldn't be a bearded lady, but that runs the risk of turning religion class into a sideshow.
So can I ask what you believe?
Hmm. I suppose my understanding of God changed as I did. I started out in a place like this, sponging up on Adam and Eve, the great flood, the birth of Christ. I became an altar boy out of the sheer urge to be closer to the action. Choir didn't work out, though. Anytime I tried to hit a high note, the organist made a face like she had eaten unclean shrimp. And now, well, as an adult, balanced faith and doubt in equal measures. But enough about me. Why do you want to be a teacher? Let me rephrase that. Are you a sadist?
No, I'm a Democrat.
That was a joke.
Yes.
Slightly humorous. Let's try this again. You, teacher, why?
I guess I just love education. I didn't go to Catholic school. I did get all of those stories, though. Adam and Eve, the flood. But they were my parents' version. Very colorful and a little sad. They were both artists.
My condolences.
They sent me to progressive day school with lots of art and sharing emotions, but Not much math or science. There were no A's or B's. Student progress was measured in shades of blue. So when I finally got to college, I fell in love with the Prussian model. Grades, quizzes, exams, a whole world of competition that I never knew existed. I was like a kid in a candy store.
Which one would you grab first? I make a beeline for the caramel creams.
Um, Swedish fish, I guess. Are you listening to me?
Yeah. Socialist parents, Prussia, candy store. I'm with you.
I know what a good teacher is. I had some really rotten ones and a few great ones, but most of them fell in between. And I understand the need to keep kids from missing out on an opportunity to shine because we all deserve a chance at greatness.
Good, good. Now, important question. When do you plan on becoming pregnant?
I'm not married.
What does that matter? Don't your artsy fartsy Latter day hippie parents want grandchildren?
I refuse to answer that question.
I'll put you down for two over the course of 6 years. Oh, wait a minute. You said Scottish? Better make it 3/8.
Excuse me, that's enough. I could never take this job.
I have to agree. Not only would our students feast upon a mountain educated noob like yourself, but the nuns would remove your organs with their backhanded compliments and roast them over an open pit of condescension. Frankly, you don't have the stuff. I suggest you go back to Vermont and teach little communists that there's much more to life than maple syrup and ice fishing.
How dare you?
Last thing we need around here is an overly sensitive, dim witted Scot.
That's it. You can call my parents hippies. You can scoff at the entire state of Vermont. And you can question my future childbearing trajectory, but I will not, for 1 second, allow you to piss on Scotland. We are intellectuals, sir. We gave the world David Hume. We gave you Adam Smith. While Americans were still in colonial diapers, Scotland was defining the way the world should think. That's right. Think, think, think. You know what I think? I think you're a bully. You say these kids would eat me alive? Find words from a little man who hides in an office and gets his bizarre freak on by asking inappropriate questions of good people. I'm a good person. And I'm going to be a great teacher. And you really want to know what I'd do if some misguided youth lit a textbook on fire in my classroom? I'd throw open a window, throw the textbook out said window, and tell each and every last little Catholic gangster if any of that crap ever happens again, the next thing flying out of the window will be one of them. You got that? You misogynistic, patriarchal, crude, twisted-minded son of a bitch!
The job is yours. Can you start Monday?
Oh,